Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. Today I want to talk about some dogs in a way that a lot of people ask me, how the heck do I get my dog to sit? Because when I have a treat, he'll sit, but when I don't have a treat with me, my dog just looks at me foolish. And it's something that I've really just come to just realize that I don't think, and anyone can challenge me with this in reality at any moment, any time. I don't think that the dogs understand when you put treat in face and you do the hand motion, the dog sits. I don't think they understand the word that's coming out of your mouth because they're paying attention to what your body is doing. And to fade that body motion away, to get it to listen to their word, is not as easy as it seems. And it's something that a lot of people are looking for. We don't want to have to do all this to get the dogs to sit. We just want to say sit or say down, and the dogs just do it without having to do anything extra. And it's something that I just want to say up front is understand what you want for your end result. And then you have to think about everything that your body is doing, everything that everything around you is doing, everything going on to make sure that you're not doing too much. So for instance, if I want to tell my dog to sit, I want to just stay in a very neutral stance and just say the word and see what they do. Now, if they don't do anything, that's where I'm going to do something that I just personally believe is the main, good, awesome, fast track, easy, simple, clear communication way to be able to explain to the dog what that sit is. And that's by using a leash. And a leash is an absolutely amazing tool. And then with this one in specific, I don't even care which leash you use. Outside of a harness, the harness is complicated to you're putting the pressure this way. I need the pressure to go up or the pressure to go down. So you can use a flat collar, you can use whatever you want on your dog. But it's something that I just like doing to get the dogs to understand the word that I'm saying and not knowing that this or anything else is the cue to sit. To get the dogs to listen to my voice, listen to me. And again, I think that a lot of dogs with the treats, it's complicated because the dogs are so in an excitable state that they're kind of frantic, that they're not really paying attention. They're just staring, because that's one thing that I can say, you hold the treat in your hand. This is how this dog is when I have a treat in my hand. He's just like, he's not doing anything else. He's just paying attention to that treat. They're just stuck on that treat. They're just focused on that treat. You can go. They're just focused on that treat. And there's something that I just don't see the dogs that are paying attention to what we are saying. They're just looking at our body, which is great, you know, because that's what dogs primarily should be focusing and paying attention to is our bodies. But there's times that you don't want to have to use that. You want to be able to just say words and the dogs understand. So for me to get that started, I just use a leash. And up front, what I do is I apply a slight bit of leash pressure straight up. Slight bit. You're not dragging the dog, you're not hanging the dog, you're not doing nothing. But I just literally will just sit here in my fastest, best go-to, or I'm gonna say fastest. Not fastest at first, but fastest to get the overall experience of what you want, as far as day by day faster. But each day up front, you're gonna spend a little time. And I'm just gonna hold this pressure until I see that the dog does something, which is, I don't know why, but most cases than none, they end up just sitting down. So I'm just gonna keep this pressure here for a while and just wait it out, and then just wait it out. Again, you're not applying so much that it's like said uncomfortable for the dog. It's just there. It's just something the dog's like, what is this? If the dog is like whipping and going all wild, you got too much pressure on. You gotta take a little bit away and just hold it there. So for this dog, he's a little tougher, like stronger. He's not so soft with his neck. I can apply a little bit more and he's not gonna like get all scared and get all nervous. But right now, since I just know that this dog knows what I'm looking for, he's just refusing, which this is the main thing that I'm gonna say is the beauty behind using the leash, to get them to understand what that sit is through my voice and not through a treat or through a hand signal or anything like that. I want him to be able to understand this by my words. And right now, the more that he's gonna sit here and just not do anything, the more that and then I release. As soon as he sits, I'm gonna let that pressure instantly go. And then he gets back up. We'll talk about that in a second. But right now, we just getting him to sit. So the second that he puts that butt on the ground, I'm gonna let that pressure go. So then I'm just gonna do it again. And you're gonna notice that each time, it'll end up starting to get faster and faster and faster. And I say that, and my dog may not do it right now just because I don't care. But it gets faster and faster. He's about to do it here in a half a second. He's already leaning it. I can feel him shifting his weight. He starts to change it up. So he shifted his weight, trying to get the pressure to go away. And that's something that he's got to figure out on his own. I don't want to use emotion. I don't want to put a treat to convince him. I don't want to do any of that. I want him to pay attention to leash. Leash, he's paying attention to me. We're paired up together, working together at this moment. And he's listening to 100% to me. And he's listening in a way that he's not like super excited, all wild, all crazy, going on rampage mode. He's just listening. He has to. He has no choice to. This is the stuff where I'm going to put in that language that a lot of people don't like. But it's the same with the treat if you're trying to do sit after sit. You're forcing a dog to sit there and do something. So if I'm going to force that dog to sit there and do something, I'd rather do it in a way that the dog understands rather than me as a human understands by trying to bribing him in a way to convince him to do something. So I'm just going to sit here and just hold this leash. I'm going to just hold it steady until he just puts the butt on the ground. Eventually, they pretty much just always put the butt on the ground. And then for him, right in a second, I'll just show you what to do in the next stage. If he's just looking around and not caring, I'll add a little bit more pressure. I add a little more pressure, and then he says, okay, I'll put that booty down now. So he's wanting to look at everything. I mean, this is obviously don't start this with the situation that you see me going on here. Hundreds of chickens around and all kinds of interesting things around and other dogs running around. Don't do that. Do that in a nice, quiet, calm, relaxed, chill place at first. And the leash it's going to go so fast and so easy. And then that's when you start upgrading it to other, better, more and more distractive places. And you end up in a situation like this basically at the end of what you're looking for. But for me, what I do and how I train, I bring a brand new dog and I put him in the thick of it right away, just so that we can fast track some stuff. There's no reason to play around, because I can just see and I know what's going on. Just like right there that I can know, hey, he's just giving me a little push because I can feel it in his neck. I can feel it in his body. His body is relaxed, and then it comes to a time that he just tenses up, and I'm like, oh no, I know what's going on there. But for everyone else, just keep the leash steady and just wait. Just wait. Just wait and wait and wait. And when the dog finally sits down, you just allow him to have that whole leash. You give him the whole leash. And then what you start doing is you upgrade that. So to me, what I learned in a dog school is, what I learned in school is to do small little stages to get him to understand more and more and more. But for me, I like to just put 10 steps in one step, because this one step is 10 steps and it's just faster to just do it this way. So at this moment, I'm gonna ask him to do this sit again. And I'm not saying any words. You don't say any words. You just use the leash, just doing all the talking. The dog doesn't know what sit is. And I'm gonna give you my philosophy of why I believe that I don't like saying words until I get to the point that the dog does it instantly. And the dog starts to do it in a way that they look basically like, I'm gonna say, happier about it. Right now, he's giving me push. I mean, he knows the word. That's probably why he's giving me pushback, because he just wants me to tell him that word. But I don't care that he knows the word. I want him to know the pressure. And the pressure is what's gonna communicate what I want. And I don't wanna say the word yet, because what I'm gonna say is fighting right now. I'm holding it, and he's just standing there like, I don't wanna do it. I don't wanna do it. So once he starts doing it really fast, okay? Once he starts doing it really, really fast, so he'll start to get there here in a second. We'll just do it a couple of times so he understands what I want. And once he starts doing it, and I pull up, and then it's almost, I'm saying instant. It's like I pull up, and then with half of a second, he's already putting butt on the ground. That's when I'll start saying that word. Because the logic here is you want to say the word and then apply the leash pressure. Say the word and then apply the pressure. And you want to continuously keep on doing that so that he hears word and then he knows what's next is leash pressure. You don't want to say it and do it at the same time. You don't want to do the pressure and then say the word. And I want to say the word when he does it instantly, so that he looks at it as it's a fun, cool way, as opposed to I say the word and we're in this fight where he's kind of pushing back at it. So then every time you say the word sit, your dog's gonna get in his brain of, we're gonna have some sort of battle going on. You're gonna force me to do something I don't really wanna do right now. And again, with leash, with treats, I don't care which way it is, you're still telling the dog to do something that is looking at you foreign, especially if you're having a result to the point of putting treat in dog's face and then pushing its butt down and you're doing too much. And when you're forcing that, now you're officially for sure doing something to the dog that a dog just doesn't understand and more likely doesn't like, if you're having to put more and more pressure on his butt to try to force it down. So it's all the same in the end, if I'm using primarily a leash or if I'm doing the treats and pushing his butt down. So I'd rather just go only leash so I have simpler things to fade away from, because in the end, I want it to just be my voice. So right now, I'm gonna have him do it again, and he's gonna get it faster and faster and faster, faster and faster. And at this moment is, if you wanna go treats route, I would say to, but I still would just not care to. But as soon as he puts butt down, and then I'll give him a treat. But I would wait until you pull leash and he starts to do it, they do it instantly. And then I would use the treat, because then the dog's gonna get excited, and then I'll start saying the word. But like right here, he's doing it, what, 20% of the time right away, faster, faster. So I'll wait till it starts to become way faster, way more, way easier. Okay. And I'll just keep doing that. So at first, I'm not worried about him staying in that sit. I just want him to sit. That's all I care for. I want to go rep after rep after rep after rep after rep. And the way that you know you got it real good is so easy. It's so easy. There's no guessing, trickaroo. There's no trying to figure things out. You'll know right away by just holding the leash up and just holding it steady and just holding it there. And you'll know when he's got it because it'll instantly every single time start to do it and start to do it. So right there, he was about to, but he's so engaged with seeing what Oriole's doing and seeing what's going on back there that this is why I say don't do it in a high distraction area at first, because your dog's going to be looking at other stuff and focused on other stuff as opposed to just focused on you. So all you want to do is just get him to sit. You want him to sit, you want to put leash down. So he's super excited because now dog's chasing chicken. So he's like, I want to join in on that. Okay. So all you want to do is just keep telling him that over and over, over and over, over and over. That's it. So he'll start to do it faster. Okay. He'll start to do it faster and faster, faster and faster. So when it gets to the point that I was able to give him any kind of pressure like this, because right now I'm giving him two, hey, Oriole, get down. I need you to help me out real quick. So, because when he chases chicken, make it challenging, but it is what it is. I want to be able to apply that pressure, and that buck goes straight down, right down, right down. So now I'm applying a little bit more pressure because he's just fighting me back. He's fighting back. And he said, I'll do it, but I don't want to do it. I'll do it, but I don't want to do it. And that's what we continue to keep on working on. So right now, he's definitely starting to get in tune with me. He's looking dead at me like, you're the one that's doing this to me. You're the one that's making me do it. I'm saying, yes, I am. Look at me. Pay attention to me. Okay. And once he starts to do that much, much faster, then I'll say good. Then I'll put treat. Then I'll say sit. Like right here, I'm at the point where I can almost start to say sit. He's almost getting excited because he knows that if he does really good, more than likely he'll be able to chase a chicken. So it's essentially the same thing as him doing really good and I give him a treat. I just use instinctual stuff to reward my dogs, like let them go smell, let them go pee, let them go chase a chick, let them go do something rather than giving them a treat. It's like more, it's just more impactful, but that's not realistic for a lot of people to do. You don't have abundance of chicks, and plus me, I'm not so on top of them all that if one ends up getting hurt, I'm not like, it's the end of the world. I just rehab it and I put it back out and it is what it is. And or it's just dog food, people. I don't just raise chicks. I don't have them. None of these are pets. They're all dog food or eggs or human food. Every single one out here has a purpose. They're not just to hang out and just to chill. I don't feed animals, take care of animals just because. Outside of this dog, and I got another dog that I do that to, that they just get fed just to be. But even right now, and really, this dog does do work for me, that he does have to go to appointments and do stuff and show up. And right now I'm forcing him to do stuff. So he does have some sort of work. Then that's why he gets paid. But for the most part, none of y'all dogs are in a situation where they should have in their brains required to do something or they won't be able to eat. That's just weird to me. I don't know why I'm gonna always basically be against that, but that's just weird to me. But what you want to continue to keep on working on is that leash goes up, that butt goes down. Okay, that leash goes up and that butt goes right back down. That's what you want over and over and over, over and over right here. So at this moment, okay. This is where I would start to say a word. So he may do it on the word, but I hope he doesn't, so that you can see what's going on here. So this is the time that I would get him to be just hanging with me. So I wouldn't want him all tail wagging, all engaged when you're doing this, to get them to learn so that they're focusing on you. At this moment, if I had nothing around, it would be him we would be locking eyes. He would sit and he'd be staring right at me. And I'll tell him to get up. He would sit and he'd be staring right at me. That's what you want to get the first foundation through. But this dog knows all this stuff, so I try to make it look more challenging. It makes it look more realistic. What you're seeing him doing is more likely what your dog's gonna look like behind closed doors. Because otherwise, this dog behind closed doors, he does it so perfect that it's just silly for me to even be able to show it. Because I want you to know that you're gonna be sitting there for probably a minute or four at first, just holding pressure up like this, convincing that dog to do what it is that you're looking for. So he's gonna continue to sit. So I'll say, okay. So right now is a time that I would look at him and I don't know why, I just like saying their name, just to give him a heads up of what's about to happen. Because if I just say the word sit, I want to know that he knows, that they know I'm talking to them. Especially if you have multiple dogs in the house, get used to this up front. Just set it as a thing to do right away. Of saying Oreo, down. Saying Johnny, sit. I want them to know who I'm speaking to so that they get a heads up. Plus, I don't like one word things. That's why for most of my dogs, I say, you'll hear me say multiple times, like get down or a get down. I use multiple, syllables and words here to give them like, listen to me, you hear me saying something, you heard it for sure, okay, here we are. As opposed to just saying down. That's kind of, I don't know if they 100% they heard it, but I do know pretty sure that if I said, Oreo, get down, he had 3 chances to listen to what's going on here. And that's why for me, I want to say, hey, Johnny, because I don't know why I use even the hey sometimes. But hey, Johnny, sit. I'll say it and then I'll use the pressure. But he's just gonna do it because he just knows that word already at this moment. That I don't even need it. I train. What you upgrade to is literally sitting on the couch doing nothing and start saying it to the dog. And then the dog will just keep on doing it. But I don't know why, but I start with sit over I'm gonna start with down. Again, these are very foreign, weird things to do with your dogs. So if they're not getting it and they're not figuring it out in the first time or the first even week, don't worry, just hang out and just relax. But I just know that some of y'all are just dead set on, I want my dog to be able to sit. And for me, I get it, but I don't understand it. I guess is something that I'll say. I don't understand it. So, but the main thing is I like the down, but I like to start with sit. So for every dog that I have, I like to be able to say the word down and them to lay down, because that's something that I use that if I'm talking to someone, if I'm engaged with someone, if I'm seeing my dog run in a sticky situation doing something, I want to be able to say that word to them. But sit is still weird. Down is, I don't know, that's what I see dogs naturally do, is lay down. I rarely see dogs sit. I see dogs sit when they're on alert, when they're like on edge. What's coming around? But down, they're hanging out, they're chill. But I like to start sit to give them a basic foundation of what I'm looking for with this leash so that I can move to down. So in about five minutes or so, I'll move to the down. But right now, this is what I'll start doing. I would say, hey, Johnny, sit, and then I'll do leash pressure. This dude is at this moment, he'll beat me to that leash pressure. That's what you want. You want him to beat you to the leash so that if he doesn't sit right away, I'll give it like literally, the faster you get on pulling the leash after you say the word, the faster that they'll do it for you. If you say, hey, Johnny, sit, and then you wait, and then you give leash pressure, they get stuck in their brain of, I don't need to do it right now. I'll just hang out and wait 5 hours and then I'll do it. And at the same time, say it one time. Say, hey, Johnny, sit. And if he doesn't do it, and then you just get on the leash right away. My expectations, I don't know why, when I say down is, I mean it in reality, instant. I don't mean to just do it 5 hours from now or 50 minutes from now or after the 15th time. I want it instant. And I got an unfortunate thing with that dog with working him all the years that I have, that I'm working him when he's in high drive. So I'm saying down, down, down. So that's what he's gotten used to from me. Like the third or the fourth one that he's like, okay, I'll finally do it now. And that's just a mistake on my part. And for me, I've never leash trained that dog. So I don't see the need to fix it at this moment today. I don't need to put all that pressure. I don't care to put all the pressure on it. I don't care that my dogs are not perfect. I don't care. I care that they get done what I need to get done, especially when they're in drive. When he's chasing chickens, I say down once and he doesn't do it, I'm kind of like, I get you, man. I understand that. But after the third time, you better for sure get down. That's you hearing what I'm saying at this moment. But when you're teaching this to your, say, pet dog inside of your house, you just want to say the word once. Just bam, sit. Again, multiple words. Hey, Johnny, sit. Hey, Johnny, here. You're good, boy. Okay. Hey, Johnny, something. Hey, Johnny, anything like that. That's what I like using. Or you, get over here. You, come here. You, I like multiple words. I don't want to just yell out here and expect that the dog comes here. And that's I guess the word that I can use with that is unrealistic in a way of being too strict, too stern. Give them options, give them a choice, give them a chance. So at that moment, when I say, hey, Johnny, sit, and he does it right away, now I can give him a treat. I can say, hey, that looks nice. I like this. Or you could do, my favorite method is good boy. Good boy. This is my favorite. I don't really go to the treat method because it is what it is for me. It's just too much extra and it gets the dogs too excited. And I don't want the dogs to think like we're having a party for me just doing these basic things that I'm looking for from you, especially when I get to the down. So the down is the opposite of what the sit is. But again, it's faster to teach the down when you do sit first and not spending like days and weeks on sit, but spending days and weeks on down. So on the down, I'm gonna reverse my leash and put it to the down position, and then I'm gonna pull down. Now this is the part here where I'm gonna say, if the dog starts to fight you, stop it. Don't do it anymore. Wait, because you need to build your relationship up in a different way to get that dog to be able to willingly do that for you. I've done this so many times to dogs, and it can destroy your relationship with your dog if you force the dog to down and it's literally trying to bite your face off right now. Because some dogs get to that point. So here I'm just gonna hold it, and wait. And then once he does it, I just relax. I just chill. This is something I'll just continuously keep doing. So now my cue for your sit with your treat is like doing like this. Everyone, I can literally go to like 90% of dogs and do this motion, the dogs sit. It's just a universal thing that pretty much we all just like have ingrained in us. But for down is going to be the universal thing of I'm going to be leaning down, going like this. If I'm going like this, the dog's going to know we're going down. We're going down. We're going down. And those are the little things that you want to pay attention to that you do the same way every single time. You want to look at your dog, you want to have him on leash, and you want to do down, and then you want to do down, and then you want to do down. This to get it good, look real nice, doesn't take long. It just takes more and more reps. The more that you put into it, the better it's going to be. The more times you do it, 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 or 10 or 12 times a day, 2 or 3 times each time, the better it's going to be. And the more that you do it in more places, the better it's going to be. This isn't some just do it once a day and it's going to, no, if you did it 20 times a day, not all back to back to back, but you do 3 or 4 times, you do down, 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 and then you just relax and you go do something else. You do that 10 times a day. That might sound like a lot because it is, but this is where you're going into if you want all these tricks and all these commands and all these cues and all this stuff, this is where it does take a lot of repetitions to get the dogs to really just get really good at it. But they get really good at it, I'm telling you, with this leash. I just, with the treats, I'm just seeing confusion over and over and over. That you need literally like thousands of reps to get them to get real good. But when you do leash with treats, you get pretty good. If you use just leash, you get really good. And then the dog just really has an easy, okay. The dog just really starts to snap and get really good with it. So the same method here. So I'm not gonna say any words to him. I'm just gonna put the expectation of the leash on him. So I'm gonna pull down on it, and this is what I'm expecting. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna be as patient as a calm. And the main thing here, again, I don't know if I've said, but being steady. Don't like pull harder, pull and try to drag them down and put more force to try to push and put them down, or say drag them and pull them up. You want to keep your pressure extremely steady. You want to keep it the same. You want them to think it through of what the heck is going on here. And then for this is why for the down. If the dog is whipping and going crazy, you got too much pressure. If the dog is just sitting there and it's been like 4 or 5 minutes, you don't have enough pressure. And if the dog is just after like 2 seconds is literally trying to bite your foot, just chill on that for a moment and work on sit and work on just walking your dog and getting your dog to respect you and care about you and start to be kind to you. Because you don't want to force it to the point that you're like, you're putting him in a life or death situation of a fight or flight. You want him to be pretty neutral about it. So right here, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. It's interesting because I can say the word and he'll do it instantly. But I like it with the leash because it just reinforces it to make it that I'm telling you to do something. And that's that language, again, I know a lot of people don't like, but I'm saying using treats or not, you're telling the dog to do something that they don't want to do. He wants to go run and chase chickens. He wants, Oreo, get down. Get down. So it makes it, no, you're good, Johnny, okay. So it makes it's just more challenging when I got a dog that's sitting here chasing, running, and doing what he wants to do. So again, be in a neutral place at first when you're doing this. Be in a very, very neutral place. There's nothing chasing, nothing going on. Shut the TV off and just hang out with your dog and just do this stuff. This stuff it works amazingly. But I think that a lot of people are just getting jammed up with the techniques that you're using to get the dogs to understand what you want. So I'm gonna go back at it again. And then just wait, because there's a huge difference I see already right away. When that dog is up chasing around, messing with the chickens, he not focused. He focused on, oh my God, I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna go over there. And that's again the thing that I see with the treats, that the treats start to get into the dog's brain and they're not thinking things clearly. They're just scrambled. They're like, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? So I'm just gonna sit here and wait it out. I'm gonna wait it out. And then for here, because I just know this dog, and if you know your dog real good, I apply a little bit more steady pressure. So right now he's giving like what I would say is pushback, because I pull down and he pushes up. And I'm just giving him no choice right now. And I'm saying, this is what I want from you. And in reality, this is something that I need to clearly tune up with him, because he's giving me this much pushback that from now on, my sit is going to be my down's going to be much more clear and easier for him in the future here from now on, because of what's going on right now. And then as soon as he's down, I just relax. I'm completely relaxed, completely chill. And then I can say, okay, or your dog's more likely going to pop back up again. But we'll get on that in a half a second here. And then I'll just do it again. So this is why, again, down is much trickier than getting them to sit. Sit's fairly easy. So sit, he'll more likely do it pretty much instantly right away. Okay. But the down is the one that always takes just a little bit more. Now, I don't know why, but it's just, it's like they like to be on their feet. They like to be engaged. They like to be in the moment. They like to be in the mix of things. They like to be, but laying down is like full total submission is the words that I want to use, that I just come to see it. That we are taking complete control of them once we get them to lay down. And that's something that is challenging for a lot of dogs, especially dogs that are very, very like pushy, very just dominant's not the word I like using, because I just don't really see too many dogs that are like truly dominant. They're just pushy. They got attitude. They're like a 15-year-old kid that looks at his mom and just looks at her and says, "No, I'm not cleaning my room." And you look at that kid like, did that kid just say that to me? That's just what's going on here, where they're like, "No, I don't want to do it. I don't care to do it." And I'm saying, I'm telling you to do this at this moment. And even if, again, you're using treats, you're still telling them. So you might as well tell them in a way that the dog understands. So from here, once he stays down, then I can go ahead and move him, let him get up, let him do what he does. And here, now I'm going to teach the concept of the stay portion that is super, super simple, that it's 10 steps in one and just get it done. So for here, I'm going to say, "Johnny, sit." So he doesn't right away, and I just get on him, and then he gets up, and I put him right back in it again. I put him right in it. So right here is I'm going to take that step. You're going to take that step. So he was about to get up, but he's going to take that step. So he gets up, and I'm going to put him right back in it again, and I'm going to put him right back in it again. So this is the 10 steps in one. I'm going to put a lot on him right away, right up front, to just say, this is where I want you to be. He gets up. I'm not going to say that word again to him. I'm not going to say sit 15 times here. I said it once, and he was in it. Once he's in it, I'm just going to keep on using that leash to tell him, this is where I want you to be at. This is where I want you to be at. This is where I want you to be at. And he's just going to stay there. And this is where, for me, I don't really care for like release words per se. I like my body to just be that. So I do something with my body every time to let them know. So I can walk with my body like this the whole time. And he knows he's got to stay there. But then as soon as I could change my body like this, and I can say, "Hey, Johnny." And he knows there's a difference in what my body's doing. That I'm calling him to like attention to come to me, so that it's fine, that he can be moved. I want him to focus on that rather than focusing on anything, because that's how, for me personally, I'm able to get a stay wherever, for how long. Like this dog, I could tell him to down and walk away, go in front of the house, in the house, do something for 20 minutes, come back, and he's still in it down, because he's waiting for my body. He's not listening to words. And that's why it's fairly simple for me, especially this dog here, because I trained him this way. I didn't train stays on any other dog except for this dog. He understands stays really well, that to pay attention to the body. That's why he could be behind me, and I could even say his name. I could say here, I could say all these words, and he doesn't move, because he's looking at my body of when it's okay. And that's why at the end of my videos, I say, "Thank you." And he's like, "Okay, my body says thank you, and I'm done, and I released what I'm telling him to do, and it's over with." That's something that, if you want to get really good at a lot of this stuff, pay attention to what your body is doing, all the language that's inside of your body. So for here, this is where every single time I'll just keep doing it. So I'll say, "Johnny, down," and then I'll wait, and then he'll get her done, and then it's the same thing. So he's in this half state. So for me, because I'm not in competition mode, I'm like, you good, man. You're more than halfway there. I'm cool with that, because I know at some moment he's going to end up going all the way down. So I'm not going to go to the point of, like, in my opinion, personally, in reality, for all of this, I don't go to the point of giving a dog a correction, because he wasn't, the correction meaning like doing that leash stuff for sits and downs. I don't think I've ever done that outside of school to this dog. I don't like that, because I don't want them to have any sort of fear in them that something may bad come because they're not doing something that is, in my opinion, kind of fun and exciting to do. I don't want to have miscommunication going on here. So from this position here, now he's in this down. And now, since I put him in there, I can go ahead and walk around and walk away. The second that he gets up, so he's more likely not going to break this, because we work on this a lot. But the second that he gets up, I'm going to do that same thing. As I'm going to come back, and I'm going to grab that leash, and I'm going to pull it down to tell him this is where I want you to be, and then I'm going to step away. I am not going to say the word again. I am not going to I don't even like using any words. I don't even like saying good. I don't like saying yes. I don't like saying anything, but just having the expectation that he's going to do that. And once he does that really, really good, he can sit there for 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then I can bring him to say, "Hey, good job, man. That's where we're at." I don't want him to, this is where I think that a lot of us are messing up, especially with stays, because you're talking to him too much. So that a dog is on edge. It's like it's listening for that key word of okay, of all done, of I'm saying all the release words for him, and yet he's still stuck there because he's not listening to me. He's looking for something to change in me that's going to tell him to move. So I think we're talking to him too much. You're saying good as your continuing marker, as we say. You're saying good job, good job, good job, good job. So the dog is constantly listening to every word out of your mouth. And then when they're listening to every word, you're going to say something at some moment. Like I'm going to say, hey, okay. And that dog is going to move because if I was in conversation, because this happened to my Kahi when I was first doing his downstay. I'm saying, hey, how's it going? Okay, it's nice to meet you. And he thought that I was speaking that okay to him. So then he breaks that stay. Now, and I'm like, stop listening to me. Do what I'm telling you to do and hang out there and just chill. Don't be all focused on all the words that are coming out of my mouth. And I think that all the extra talk is what's messing up the stays in a lot of dogs because they're on edge. They're like, he gonna release me. He gonna release me, as opposed to just stay, stop, relax. I'll come get you. And I'll say, hey, Johnny, okay. He's still not gonna move. Thank you. You're good. Thank you. But he stays stuck. He's like, you testing me? And I'm like, yeah, somewhat, but no, you can come get up right now. We're all good. But you end up getting that by not doing too much communication with them. So again, I'll just sit here and say, hey, Johnny, down. I like all the extra words and extra terms. So right now he's in a, I don't know if he even recognized that I said anything because I see he's focused over there. But right now I'm demanding that. I'm saying, hey, if you're in a free or you are walking around doing what you're doing, I'm telling you to get that done. Oreo, get down. I'm telling you to do that at this moment. So at this moment, my cue to get him to down is a huge one. It's doing this. So how the heck do you get away from that? And that's where, when they start to sit really, and down really fast with that leash, Oreo, get down. That's when they start to do a really, get down. When they get it really fast, when you have little light pressure and they instantly go down. That's why you say the word before you go into the pressure of the leash. So you're gonna say, hey, get down, and then the leash. Hey, get down, and then the leash. Hey, get down, and then the leash. And then once more of, hey, get down, and then the leash. Do that 4 times. 3 to 4 times each time. This is gonna take, what, a minute, 2 minutes? And if your dog is still stressed on that leash where it's kind of giving you pushback, it might take you 10 minutes, but do that 4 times and just make it a mission that if you want this to be really good, really nice, this right here, I can get it down to look and be like how he is in a few months, 2-3 months. It could be really nice. And in reality, 2-3 weeks, you can get it to be super nice if you did this 10 times a day. 10 times a day you worked on this over and over again and paying very close attention to that leash is getting loose. He goes down. You say, hey, get down, leash, hey, get down, leash. After a while, you'll say, hey, get down, and the dog will beat you to the leash. And then you're like, now the magic is starting to happen at this moment. Now things are starting to get really good. Now things are starting to move along because I'm saying a word and he's getting down. I'm saying a word, he's getting down. This is why for me, I like to just do one thing and spend like months on one thing. Again, sit is weird. I just start with the sit to get him to understand what that steady pressure means. But I don't even care to use the word with that. I just want him to feel pressure, do it, release. Feel pressure, do it, release. Feel pressure, do it, release. And then go right to the down, right away. I don't even care for the sit. Sit is so foreign and so weird. I'd rather, if I'm going to go talk to someone and be on a walk and have to put my dog off to the side for some reason, I'd rather them be in a down. It's so much more relaxing to the whole world to see rather than a sit. A sit, the dogs are like, they look scary, but a down doesn't look so, or get down. The down doesn't really look so scary. The down is in reality to the dog as well, letting them know I'm taking ownership here. I'm taking control here. You don't need to worry. I got it. You chill. I got it. You don't worry about that. I got it. And that takes the pressure, takes the stress, takes the anxiety, takes everything out of the dog. But at first, sometimes they like to push because they're like, I don't know if you got it, but you got to show them that you got it, that you're good to go. Now if he's in a down right here, and I got a random person with a random dog trying to come up, I got to make sure I get that person away so that they can see over and over that I do have it, that we're good. But after a while, your dog is going to start to just automatically get it. And then you're going to say that word, and then that pressure is going to come. So then that's why when you start doing things at a distance. So the dog you're now 5-10 feet away from the dog. And you look at the dog. This is where, again, you start with it inside the house. Everything that you start new from, you start inside the house where it's nice and calm, nice and neutral to get them to understand what you want. And then move to your front yard. And then move to a park. And then just keep going and going and going. And then go to the Home Depot. And you could do whatever. You could do stays like this anywhere, any situation, at any time. The animals is the one that I've come to realize is the hardest one because they're running and doing what you're doing. So if you got a park that's got like ducks and geese and swans and stuff, that's where you go to really get your dog to have a really nice downstay, because those little animals are moving. And dog parks, dogs are running and going and moving to get your dog to stay in a stay. Those are going to be your most trickiest spots. But as far as like people walking and moving around and kids running in the park, that's not so much. Unless you got a dog that is just obsessed about human beings. Some dogs are that way. My Dalmatian is kind of just a little obsessed with wanting to meet every single person. She sees people, she's like, oh, there's a person, there's people. I'm like, it's okay. She's not so much on the dogs, but to the people. She's just like, oh, there's a person, there's a kid, there's a person. So it's like, that might be more of a challenge to bring her to the park and put her around all those sticky situations. And then for me, you'd probably see my dog do stuff like this. I'm not that hardcore, strict, down, nothing. Like, he could just roll and do what he do. Even if he popped up into a sit right now, I still wouldn't say nothing. But if he popped up to a stand and started walking, that's when I'm gonna put him right back into that again. So from here, I would say, hey, Johnny, okay? And then from here, you come over here. Wait. So from here, I would say to him, hey, Johnny, down. And then you'll start working on that. So now, here's the situation. If he doesn't do it, if he doesn't get it done, what do? You go right to where he is, and if he's already walking towards you, you take him all the way back to where he was, and you use a leash and you tell him to get down. And that's that huge cue again, that huge cue. Make sure you're just doing it the same way every time. You're just always on it. You just sit at home and just work on these cues. They got them stupid dances that they used to do back in the, I don't even know what years these were, but like the lawnmower, that dance, all these moves just start to get it together. And so then your dogs, you're gonna understand that when they see you walking towards them and doing this, that they know to lay down. And again, this is where stuff gets complicated if you go to the route of using the corrections and stuff and leash corrections and things to tell the dog to do that. Because if you are, I've done this because this is what this dog used to do to me, and I've seen it with many of dogs, that you walk towards them and they cower, they get scared, they get nervous. To me, I just don't like my dogs ever looking like that. And only if it's like a dangerous, sticky situation. Now, if I got a dog that's like, I don't even still know what I would even do that for today, because I don't run into dangerous, sticky situations. Oh, front gate. Front gate's open, we're driving, we're running up there, and if they decide to go about 5 steps past where I feel comfortable with, because it's a 60-mile-an-hour road up there, I'm going to say something and more than likely get a little firm with my words to say, hey, get the heck back over here. And they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, we went too far. But that's, to me, getting into a life or death situation. Oh, when they're chasing a donkey, I'm gonna get a little firm with my language to say, get the heck out of that, because a donkey can kill them. And I'm not so much worried about the cows at this moment because they're all super soft, but the donkey is never going to be soft. He's all about killing dogs and killing anything that's in his way. And so I got to be a little firm that I'm fine with my dogs looking at me like, oh, I got to stop that. But as far as like telling him to down, I don't know why, but I just never, ever want my dog to think that it's going to get in trouble for not laying down or doing something like that. I don't know. To me, that's just me. That's my opinion. That's the way that I come to see my dogs. I want them to sit, I want them to down, and doing it in a way that it's just like, okay, all right. And if I walk to them fast, they just look at me like, hey, what you want? Not in a way of like, what's about to happen right now? So that's why right now, if he breaks that down, I will walk back to him. I will grab that leash and I will put him right back where he was. And I would pull that leash pressure down and I would get him to lay down and I would say no words out of my mouth. And then I would just walk away. I just walk away. Yep, you can get up. And then I would just continuously keep doing that over and over again. So from here, I'll do the same thing. Wait. So he just knows wait. I'll talk about that command someday as well. Oh, wait. So when I say wait, they just basically stay where I tell them to stay at. And they could sit there, lay there, stay in there, but they are not allowed to move forward anymore. I like that command or cue or whatever you call it, because that's what I use if we're running out of the van, if we're running out of a gate, if we're doing anything like that, if we're on the trail off leash and they're walking too far, I could tell them to stay where they're at so I can catch up and then let them go. If they're trying to walk up to someone, I could say wait, and they stop in their tracks. I don't need them to come back to me. I just want them to know, don't go that far. So then I can say, hey, Johnny, get down. And then he knows to get down right there. Right there is where I want him to do it right now. And that's when every time I want to do it right where he was standing is where I want him to do it. And then stay in that position. Johnny, okay? Okay. You good. No, come here. Let me get my leash. You good. But I want them to know every time that when I say that word, is them do it right there where they're at. Because that's the part I think that gets complicated with a lot of people. And that's where my border collie kind of gets into that a little bit. That I say it, and I say down, and then he's like creeping, getting closer and closer and closer to try to do it right next to me. And sometimes I want that, and other times I don't. So for me, up front, right away, I want to start teaching that at a distance. I don't want to teach that later. That's something that, again, I like to fast track things and put 50 steps in one step instead of like worrying about doing a down a foot away, down a next foot away, down a half a foot away. I just want to go 10, 15, 20, 30 feet away and just start right there, right away, so that he starts to listen to my word and not any of my emotions, any of my feelings, any of my body, any of my anything, to start listening to the word. And the action is where things start to really get good. Because when you say, hey, you good. When you say, hey, Johnny, get down. You're good. I want him to know that where he's at is what I want him to do it. And then if he doesn't do it, I'm going to walk to him. And you're not going to walk to him on some, I'm going to come get you. No, you're just going to walk up there like, hey, and then take him where you asked him. So the main thing is pay attention to the general vicinity where he was. And then you're going to put him right back or her right back there in that spot. Use the leash to guide him to get back down. Do not say the word again and put him in there and then walk away. And then if he gets up, you're going to get up and you're going to walk all the way over there. You're going to put him down. Usually 3 or 4 times, the dog just lays there or sits. I'm telling you, lay down is much better than sit. It's harder for them to break a down position than to break a sit position. Sit position is so easy to get out of. They're just already sitting. They're just, oh, I can just move. But the down takes way more effort. So if you want to get really good stays, the down, as I'm telling you, is a way to go. And it's actually useful. And it's actually something that is just normal to a dog to lay down. So why not just use what's normal to the dogs and the dogs understand? That's why I like to train things that they understand, such as weight and such as down. Those are the 2 things that I spend a lot of time, a recall, but not so much as a recall. I don't like demand that they come and be close. When I say their names, I want them to come my direction. I don't care for the whole come to me and come to an attention, heel or any of that. I just want them to come my direction and get around me is all I'm looking for. I don't need the perfection of getting all on. Now, if I say another word of like heel, where I want you specifically there, where Johnny understands that because I was working on that stuff in the school, but I rarely ever like demand that from him today to make him do it. And I do it for work purposes because it's easy to get him to get right next to me so that I could tell him to down right in a specific spot to make it easy for him. But it's something that it's again, foreign to a dog. I like to teach the dog stuff that is their language, that they understand. And they understand, let's lay down and hang out. Because when we're sitting, we're on alert. We're pretty much on edge when we're sitting. We're on that fence of, I might have to get moving right now. I might have to get going. But down this, dude, we might be here for 8 hours. And I can tell this dog here to just stay down. He can be there for 8 hours. All right, he can fall asleep, and I come back and see him. He's like, oh, how's it going? Like you're here. Everything's all right. And that's what you're looking for from them. And that starts by just using again, I don't like the treats and all that because it gets the dogs too excitable. I don't like the toy sessions because it gets them too excitable. Now, if you're looking for that competition looking stuff where the dog does the perfect looking down and the perfect looking sit and the perfect position and it just does it so freaking fast, and yeah, go that route. But that's unrealistic because I'm going to say it's hard because it is hard. And that's why there's certain people that excel at these certain sports because it's not, if it was easy, it would be easy for everyone to do. It's challenging to train dogs to know how to do all this crazy looking great obedience work with toys. It's not some easy stuff to do. And someone will say that it is easy because I'll say myself it's easy. But there's a learning curve here to understand. And it is best to work a few dogs to get that learning curve understood so then you can be able to help out people do stuff like that. But you yourself just doing with your dog and grabbing a tug toy or grabbing a ball on a rope and thinking that you're going to be able to get this fancy looking, you might mess your dog up. And then you might get the next one better because there's learning that takes on here because the dogs get crazy. They'll start to bite your hands. They'll start to bite your arms. They'll start to bite you a little bit. Not hard, but just trying to get the food or trying to get the ball or trying to get what it is. So if you hold the ball and you got it in your armpit, expect that dog is going to be trying to get all up in that armpit. And it can put a little bit of teeth on you and it hurts. And you can't drop that ball even if it does bite you. You got to hold on to it. And that's why that stuff it's cool, but it's not for everybody. But what is for everybody is the simple stuff that I was just showing you. Just use that leash and just get the dog. Again, don't worry about, this is my opinion. Don't worry about the sit, but start with the leash pressure up because it's easiest for the dog. That leash goes up and the dog, it's like a natural motion that the dog does. It's like, oh, the down one is very foreign, very strange, because the dog's gonna feel pressure like this and he's gonna push his butt up. They're gonna like go the opposite of what's going on. So he's gonna push his butt up and you're pushing down and you're like, what the heck? So the dog, I want the dog to understand what that pressure means. Pressure is on, do something. Okay, he did it, let it go. Pressure's away. It's like, all right, I could do that. I can make that happen. And once that dog does that on instant, you pull up and the dog instantly puts butt down. Okay, now let's go to the down. Now, just put the pressure on, and then when the dog starts to automatically do it so fast, and it's even better if you just, you're not saying a word, but if you just do this motion, and that dog lays down, you're headed in the right direction, because you want to do this, because then you want to say, hey, get down, and then move. Hey, get down, and then move. Hey, get down, and then move. Hey, get down. And this is something that I might have to make a whole video on this, but something that I realized I ran into sticky situations with my dogs is to vary your voice. Don't always, because especially, this is the one thing that gets, I think, most people in a jam with the recall. Because when you're calling them back, your voice is never, not never, but it's rarely because you're calling them back because it's all fun and sunshine. There's something going on. So you're gonna have, your voice is gonna be crazy. Your voice is gonna be like, hey, get down, as opposed to like, hey, get down. So you wanna make sure that they understand that each one is fine. There's no like hostility towards it. So vary your voice so that when you say things and you do stuff, that they know that it's not because they're in trouble, anything's wrong, but just everything's fine. So you can have a, hey, get down, and then like a, hey, get down, and a, hey, get down. You change your voice and change your pitch, because I'm telling you, your dogs can get through this with you to understand that it's okay. Because you don't want to say, especially on the recall, you don't want to, hey, come here, and your dogs look at you like, I ain't going, and then they keep going a direction because they're just unsure of what's happening. You're gonna end up in a sticky situation. So I for sure train my recalls like that to make sure that I got hostility in my voice and they still have to come to me. Oh, you're good. I ain't looking for you. You go back doing what you was doing. You want to vary your voice because it's not always the same. Same thing with that down. It may be a sticky situation that you're gonna have the extra in you to say that word to them. So then you want to make sure that they do it, and they're not gonna look at you like they're nervous or anything like that. Because when your voice starts to get loud, the dogs just naturally get nervous. But you want to let them know like there's nothing to worry about here, man. It's okay, because that's just us every day, all day living. Real. We're not never, but we're just not coming home all the time like, hey, how's it going? You're so great. No, you're gonna have a little bit of hostility in you sometimes. You're gonna have a little bit of frustration in you sometimes. It just is what it is. But you don't want your dog to think that they hear you in a certain way, that they need to be scared of you or run away from you or be nervous of you. They're just like, oh, that's just mom, that's just dad. Everything's okay, everything's fine. And that starts by just varying your voices and just saying it and just continue to keep doing it. Because your cue for that down, again, is gonna be that. And then you're gonna end up getting the dog to beat you. The dog, you're gonna say the word and the dog's like, I know what you want, and it's gonna lay down before you even move and before you do anything. And then when they start doing that, then you just take a couple of steps back and you say, hey, get down. And you want them to lay down like 10 feet from you, right in place. Not come to you and do it, but right in place where they're at. And the more and more you just keep doing that, and then if they come to you, you're gonna take them all the way back to where they were, put them down and walk away. And just wait and just hang out and just chill. Because this is the part where I think, again, fast track it all. I don't care to release my dogs from where hey, come here, guys. I don't need to release my dogs and walk all the way to them to release them, to get them. No, we could fast track all these steps. And there's no reason to take a million different ones when majority of these dogs are way more intelligent than we try to give them credit for. And they can figure all this out. Because someone would say that if you constantly keep releasing a dog from a distance, then they're just not going to stay in that position. No, it's a matter of training that distance at first, so they understand what the expectations are first, as opposed to getting to it later. I want to train what I want up front. I want to train a distance down up front, and I want to train a distance recall up front, so that they know when I say that word down, they know that that's where I do it at. And if you do it at first, you're going to have what people think of as like some crazy, like, how did you get that? Like, my dog in this, and I always have to do it next to me, and you'll be able to have what looks like advanced looking training on your dog from just the beginner's work that you do. Because you do the advanced work up front, to get that and skip all these other steps. And you don't have to say skip it in a way that the dog's not gonna understand. I'm telling you, the dogs are gonna understand this. They understand it so great. That's why every time I put a stay command on any dog that I work with, the people look at it like, what the heck? Like, that's crazy. I get this stuff done. Like, I can get a dog to down and get a dog to sit in a matter of a training session and get them to do a sit stay, down stay, a distance at down stay in a training session. Because I do what I know I want my dog to look like in the future right now. Right now. I'm already putting all the links together. We're smart enough as humans to do that, and dogs are smart enough to be able to come with us when we're doing that for them. But if you treat them like they're some dumb, insignificant, stupid little animals, then yeah, you're gonna have to do small little steps. And then you're gonna realize all these small steps in the end, 5 months from now, you're just still not getting what you're looking for. Because the dog is, in my opinion, begging. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's cruise. Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. Let's go. Come on, man. And you're just like, no, we're not ready yet. No, just go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm telling you, distance down should be your first, as soon as that leash is loose, leash loose, dog drops, I'm already stepping away. And I'm saying that word down. Already I'm going to start doing that. And this stuff is super simple, people. It's something that I know everyone is wanting to sit, but I would just get the heck away from the sit and go straight to the down. And the down is going to give you a way, way nicer dog in the end of the day than any sit and any heel and any of that will. A solid down on a dog is an awesome thing because it clearly explains to the dog, do nothing right now and don't even wait on me right now. That's another thing, that they just know that they are disengaged right now and you're going to take care of it, and then we're going to go on and do something different once I allow you to move. And for me, again, you have release words. I prefer to pay attention to your body and pay attention to what you're doing to be able to say to that dog what you want. And so don't put them in a down and stare at them. Just put them in down and move away. And then after a while, you look at that dog and you'll have your body. I don't know if you can even see the differences in my body, but I'll try to make it look very, very animated right now. But my body is right now is saying, you're staying in that stay. My body is saying that to him. This is why every one of my videos, my body is pretty much the same. It's dead on. It's the same. And then I could change to this. And then the dogs know, okay, it's time to move. I just like release and relax all of that energy that I'm putting on him. To say, hey, okay, now, okay, we can go off and do something different now. And then for up front, to make that easy to the dog to see, but they can see it, but just for maybe you to see, is you put on something and then you could just let it off. You could just shake it off. And the dog's like, oh, okay, we can move now. I don't care for the words to release because then they're constantly listening to my voice. Thank you.